Max, can you let Russell through, please? Let Russell through.
What? I was ahead. Hey, what the fuck?
My advice is to let through.
Wait, I was ahead. He just ran me off the road.
But that's the rules.
Max Verstappen's fury in Barcelona didn't come out of nowhere. It was a boiling point. A full-on eruption triggered by something far more complex than just a radio call. This wasn't simply a driver upset about losing a position. It was the moment when one of the most dominant forces in modern Formula One finally snapped. Not just at a rival, not just at a decision, but at the very system that governs the sport. The radio conversation that has now leaked to the public is more than just a heated exchange. It's a window into Verstappen's mindset, a mindset shaped by months of rising pressure, questionable stewarding decisions, and a sense that he's being cornered from all sides. Red Bull, the FIA, the race directors, the rule book, everyone, it seems, had a say in how that Sunday unravelled. But Verstappen, he made his feelings clear. Not with a statement, not in a press conference, but live, over team radio, raw, unfiltered, and now completely exposed. And that's where the chaos truly begins. Because when you hear Max yell, "What? I was ahead, mate. What the fuck, serious?" You're not just hearing anger. You're hearing a champion who feels hunted, who believes he's being punished not for breaking the rules, but for refusing to bow to them, for racing hard, for fighting on the edge, for being the very thing that made him a four-time world champion. Now the paddock is in uproar. Fans are divided, critics are sharpening their knives, and the FIA, they're standing firm, penalty points in hand, warning Verstappen that he's one misstep away from a full race ban. One more clash, one moment too aggressive, and he's out. But here's the twist. What if that leaked radio wasn't just frustration? What if it was calculated? What if Verstappen knew exactly what he was doing, not just on the track, but with every word broadcast to the world? This isn't just a story about Barcelona. It's a story about power, control, and what happens when Formula One's most relentless competitor feels like the sport is turning against him. And trust us, once you hear everything that unfolded behind the scenes, from the tyre gamble to the collision with Russell, and the fallout that followed, you'll understand why this moment could change everything. So before we take you deep into the controversy that set the F1 world on fire, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay with us until the end. Because what just happened in Barcelona isn't just drama. It's a warning, and the war between Verstappen and the FIA has only just begun. What happened next was far more than a clash of wheels. It was a clash of principles, egos, and power, and the fallout has rippled far beyond just a finishing position or a time penalty. Behind closed doors, tension inside Red Bull began to mount, while the cameras showed Verstappen shrugging off the incident, insisting he had nothing to regret. The truth behind the scenes was far less composed. According to several sources close to the team, what appeared to be a minor on-track dispute had spiraled into a much larger internal debate, not just about strategy, but about control. Red Bull had made a call based on instinct. They wanted to avoid a penalty, to play it safe, to protect the long game, but Verstappen doesn't play the long game. He races on instinct, aggression, and pride. And in that moment, he felt undermined. The instruction to give up a position he believed he had earned wasn't just about points. It was a direct hit to his authority as the driver leading the charge for a fifth world title. That's why he reacted the way he did. And that's why, even after the incident, he didn't immediately express remorse. Not to the media, not over the radio, not even internally. The silence from Verstappen in the hours that followed was louder than any radio transmission. It signalled one thing: defiance. He believed the team had panicked, that they'd made a decision to appease the FIA rather than trust his judgment, and he wasn't ready to let that go. But then came Monday. The shift in tone wasn't just noticeable, it was calculated. Verstappen's social media post, carefully phrased and strategically timed, didn't come from emotion. It came from necessity. The words "not right" and "shouldn't have happened" weren't spontaneous. They were deliberate, written to cool the storm, to steady the headlines, and to prevent the situation from escalating further. But fans aren't stupid, neither are the media, and certainly not the FIA. Everyone saw the contrast. The fiery Verstappen on Sunday, spitting fury over the radio, refusing to admit fault, and then the composed, reflective tone a day later. Something had changed, or rather, someone had intervened. Christian Horner's subtle endorsement of the statement, a simple like on social media, spoke volumes. Publicly, he was showing support. Privately, he was drawing a line. Verstappen might be their biggest asset, but no one is. Untouchable. Red Bull knows the cost of conflict, and with the championship on a knife edge, unity isn't optional. It's vital. And then there's the deeper issue now casting a shadow over the entire championship, the penalty point system. With Verstappen now on 11 points, he's one slip-up away from a mandatory race ban. One lock-up, one misjudged corner, one wheel-to-wheel moment that goes just a bit too far, and he's out for a whole weekend, and this isn't some abstract threat. His points won't begin to expire until the end of June. That means Canada and Austria are both live threats. And with tracks like Montreal known for their unforgiving nature and chaotic restarts, Verstappen's usual aggressive approach might not be a strength. It might be a risk. Now imagine that. Max Verstappen, the face of the sport, watching a Grand Prix from the garage because of a technicality. It would be a seismic moment for F1, a spectacle for the media, a disaster for Red Bull. And the FIA, they know it. That's why their handling of this incident has come under such intense scrutiny. Was the 10-second penalty enough? Were the 3 licence points too much? Was the system designed to deter dangerous driving? Or to control a driver like Verstappen? That's the real question burning in the paddock right now. Is Formula One punishing Verstappen for racing on the edge? Or are they using him as an example to assert control? Some say he crossed the line. Others say the line keeps moving depending on who's in the car. What's undeniable is this. Max Verstappen has been pushed into a corner, and how he responds, not just in the car, but in his behaviour, his language, his relationship with the team, could decide not just the next race, but the entire arc of the 2025 season. Because this is no longer about what happened in Turn 5, it's about what happens next. Will Verstappen rein it in? Will he toe the line, avoid the ban, and play the game the way the FIA wants? Or will he double down, risk it all, and continue to fight on his own terms? Even if it means sitting out a Grand Prix, the eyes of the world are watching, and with every race from this point on, the stakes will only get higher. Let us know in the comments. Did Verstappen go too far? Or is the system itself broken? Is Formula One still about racing? Or is it becoming a show of compliance? Hit that like button if you're with us this far, subscribe for daily updates, and make sure to stay tuned, because Verstappen's next move could change everything we know about modern Formula One.